If you've been wiping down your granite or marble counters with a vinegar and water mix because some blog told you it's natural and safe, stop right now. I've walked into more kitchens than I can count where the countertop looks dull, cloudy, almost frosted in spots, and every single time the homeowner tells me the same thing. I just clean it with vinegar, it's supposed to be good for you. It's not good for your stone, it's eating it. Vinegar is an acid. Stone counters, marble, limestone, travertine, even some quartzite, are full of calcium carbonate. Acid and calcium carbonate do not get along. They react. That dull, foggy patch you thought was just wear is actually your countertop dissolving, one wipe down at a time. It's called etching, and once it happens, you can't clean it away. You need a professional to polish it back out, or you live with it. My grandfather ran a cleaning crew for almost 40 years, and one of the first things he ever told me was that the wrong cleaner does more damage than no cleaner at all. I've tested that on hundreds of jobs since, across every countertop material you can put in a kitchen, and it holds up every time. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening to your counters, why the products you're probably using are making it worse, and the actual right way to clean every type of surface you'll find in a real kitchen. The problem. Here's what makes this so frustrating. Etching doesn't show up right away. You don't spray vinegar on your marble counter and watch it fog up in front of you. It takes weeks, sometimes months of repeated exposure before you notice anything. So people keep doing the thing that's causing the damage because there's no immediate feedback telling them to stop. By the time it's visible, it usually shows up as a ring, from a citrus juice spill, a wine glass, a splash of tomato sauce that sat too long. Or it shows up as a general haze across the whole surface if you've been using an acid-based all-purpose spray as your daily wipe down. Either way, by the time you can see it, the damage is already done. You're not preventing anything at that point, you're just seeing the bill. I get calls from homeowners who swear their counter was fine a month ago, and now it looks like someone rubbed sandpaper across half of it. It wasn't sudden, it was cumulative. Every acidic cleaner, every lemon slice left on the surface, every natural vinegar spray added up until the stone couldn't hide it anymore. And it's not just marble owners making this mistake. I see it on granite too, which surprises people because granite is naturally more acid resistant. It is tougher than marble, but a lot of granite slabs still have some calcite content mixed in, especially around veining, and that calcite is the vulnerable part. Calcium carbonate reacts with acid in a straightforward chemical reaction. The acid breaks the calcium carbonate into calcium ions, water, and carbon dioxide gas. That's a real chemical reaction happening on your countertop surface, not just a cosmetic wipe. The surface layer of the stone is literally being converted into something else and washed away. What you're left with is a rougher, more porous surface where the smooth, polished layer used to be. Light hits that rough surface differently than it hits a smooth one, which is why it looks dull or cloudy instead of shiny. Vinegar is acetic acid, usually sitting around a pH of 2.5. That's acidic enough to start this reaction on contact. It doesn't need to sit there for an hour. Repeated short exposures, day after day, add up to the same damage as one long exposure. That's the part people don't get. They think because they wipe it up quickly, they're fine. You're not fine. You're just doing damage in smaller doses. I've tested this on scrap granite and marble pieces plenty of times over the years because I wanted to see it for myself instead of just taking someone's word for it. Wipe a honed marble sample with straight vinegar, let it dry, and you can already feel a texture difference under your fingertip within a few applications. It's subtle at first, but it's there, and it only gets worse. Now here's the part that really trips people up, the reason this myth is so common in the first place. Vinegar genuinely is a good cleaner for a lot of surfaces. It cuts grease, it kills a decent range of bacteria, it's cheap, and it doesn't leave a chemical smell behind once it dries. On glass, on sealed wood, on most laminate, and on stainless steel in the right dilution, it works fine. So people hear vinegar is a safe, natural cleaner from a source talking about glass or bathroom tile, and they apply that same advice to their stone counters without anyone telling them stone plays by different rules. The other root cause I see constantly is people using the same all-purpose spray on every surface in their kitchen because it's convenient. One bottle, every surface, done. Most all-purpose sprays and a lot of the citrus-scented natural cleaners on store shelves have some acid content. Citric acid, sometimes a vinegar base, because acid is what makes them effective on grease and soap scum elsewhere in the house. Nobody reads the ingredient label looking for pH. They just see kitchen cleaner on the front and figure it's made for kitchens, so it must be fine for a kitchen counter. That assumption is where almost every etched counter I've ever fixed started. Quartz counters get a pass on the acid issue, by the way, and that trips people up in a different direction. Quartz is engineered stone, crushed quartz mixed with resin, not a natural calcium carbonate stone, so it's much more acid resistant than marble or limestone. That's genuinely true, but people hear quartz doesn't etch and assume that means quartz is bulletproof, so they get careless with heat and with harsh chemicals like bleach or strippers, which damage quartz in a different way, through the resin binder instead of the stone itself. Different mechanism, same result. A counter that looks worse than it should for its age. Common mistakes. Let's talk about what people actually do when they're trying to fix this, because most of the DIY responses I see make the problem worse, not better. Mistake 1. Trying to polish out the etching themselves with more products. This is the most common thing I run into. Someone notices the dull ring or hazy patch, panics a little, and goes looking for a fix online. They find suggestions to buff it out with baking soda paste, or to use a granite polish they bought at the hardware store, or, I've genuinely seen this, to try sanding it with a fine grit sandpaper because someone in a forum said it worked for them. Baking soda paste on a light etch can sometimes help a tiny bit because it's a mild abrasive, but it's inconsistent, and most people apply it wrong. Too much pressure, uneven circles, stopping the second it looks slightly better instead of doing the job properly. Polished products marketed for granite are often not matched to the actual finish of your stone. A polish meant for a polished finish will not restore a honed finish, and vice versa. You end up with an inconsistent sheen, part of the counter looking like the original finish, part looking like whatever the polish did, and now you've got two different textures on one slab. The sandpaper thing, please don't do this. I understand the logic that you're trying to level out the damaged layer, but hand sanding stone without the right grit progression and without keeping the surface wet leaves scratch patterns you can see under any decent kitchen light. I've had to bring in actual stone restoration equipment to fix DIY sanding jobs, and that's a bigger bill than the original etching would have ever cost to deal with. Mistake 2. Switching to bleach or ammonia-based cleaners because at least it's not acid. I get why people think this way. They learn vinegar is acidic and bad, so they swing the other direction entirely and grab something alkaline, figuring the opposite of the problem must be the solution. Bleach and ammonia are not the fix. On sealed stone, bleach can break down the sealant just as effectively as acid does, just through a different mechanism. It's harsh on the resin and polymer compounds used in most sealers. On quartz specifically, bleach can actually discolor the resin binder over time, leaving a faded or blotchy look, especially on darker colored quartz. And mixing bleach with any ammonia-based product, even by accident, produces toxic fumes. That's a basic household safety issue that has nothing to do with the counter and everything to do with you breathing safely in your own kitchen. I've also seen people use straight rubbing alcohol thinking it's a safe middle ground since it's not acidic or bleach-based. Alcohol is generally fine for quartz and sealed granite in moderation, but it's a solvent, and repeated use on some sealants will dry them out and cause premature cracking or peeling of the sealant layer over time. It's not the disaster vinegar is on marble, but it's still not a daily use product, and I see people using it daily because they read one comment saying it was safe. Mistake 3. Over-scrubbing and using the wrong tool for the material. This one's less about the chemical and more about the physical habit. When people see a stain or a dull spot, the instinct is to scrub harder. Green scrub pads, steel wool, even the rough side of a kitchen sponge. I see all of it used on stone and quartz counters regularly. These are all abrasive enough to create fine scratches, especially on polished finishes where the shine depends on a completely smooth surface. Those scratches catch light differently, and over time, an over-scrubbed counter builds up a network of fine scratching that looks like general wear, but is actually thousands of small mistakes stacked on top of each other. On quartz, this matters even more than people expect, because quartz has that polished resin layer holding everything together. Scrub it too aggressively too often, and you're wearing through that resin layer, which is what gives quartz its stain resistance in the first place. Once that layer is compromised, the counter becomes more porous and more prone to staining right in the spot you were trying to keep clean. There's also the mistake of leaving cleaning products to sit and work for too long based on instructions meant for tougher surfaces like tile grout or oven interiors. I've talked to people who spray a granite cleaner, get distracted, and come back 45 minutes later. Even a product formulated to be stone-safe at the recommended contact time can behave differently over an extended unintended dwell time. Read the label, use a timer if you have to, and don't treat your counter like it's self-cleaning while you go answer the door. But there's one step people always skip that matters more than any product you use, and I'll get to that in the solution section because it changes everything about how much maintenance your counter actually needs going forward. Solution. Alright, here's how you actually do this right, broken down by material, because clean your counter isn't one instruction, it's 5 or 6 different instructions depending on what's actually installed in your kitchen. Marble, limestone, and travertine, the acid-sensitive stones. For these, your daily cleaner needs to be pH neutral, not acidic, not heavily alkaline. Warm water with a few drops of a genuinely pH neutral dish soap is honestly enough for most day-to-day wipe-downs. If you want a dedicated product, look for one specifically labeled Stone Safe or pH Neutral Stone Cleaner, and actually check that it says pH neutral because plenty of stone marketed sprays still sneak citric acid in for scent and grease cutting, which defeats the purpose. Here's the actual method. Wipe up spills immediately, especially anything acidic. Wine, coffee, citrus, tomato-based sauces, salad dressing. Don't let it sit for a minute while you finish plating dinner. That minute is exactly the exposure window that causes etching. Use a soft microfiber cloth, not a sponge with any texture to it. Dampen cloth with your neutral cleaner. Wipe in the direction of the stone's natural grain if it has one, then dry it with a second clean microfiber cloth immediately after. Don't let the surface air dry because water spots and mineral deposits from your tap water can also dull the finish over time, especially if you've got hard water. For a deeper clean once a week, same method, just take a bit more time and make sure you're getting into the areas around the sink and stove where grease and food residue build up faster. Pro tip, and this is the thing almost nobody does, including plenty of cleaning crews I've had to correct over the years. Reseal your stone counters on a schedule, not when you remember to. Most sealants last somewhere between 6 months and 2 years depending on the product and how much traffic your kitchen gets, but almost nobody tracks it. Do the water test every few months. Put a small puddle of water on the counter, about the size of a coin, and watch it. If it beads up and sits on the surface for 10 to 15 minutes without darkening the stone underneath, your seal is still good. If the stone darkens within a couple minutes, your seal is failing and it's time to reapply. This one habit prevents more staining and etching damage than any cleaner you'll ever buy, because a strong seal buys you a few extra seconds of reaction time on every spill, and a few seconds is often the difference between a wipe-up and a permanent mark. Granite. Granite gets more forgiveness than marble, but treat it with the same neutral pH approach for your everyday cleaning, especially if you've got a honed rather than polished finish, or if there's visible veining, since that's usually calcite. A neutral stone cleaner or the same warm water and mild soap combination works for daily wiping. Where granite differs is in what it can tolerate occasionally. A small amount of isopropyl alcohol on a cloth can help with tougher grease spots or to disinfect around raw meat prep areas, and it evaporates clean without leaving residue. Don't make it a daily habit, but as an occasional spot treatment, it's fine on granite specifically. Same sealing rule applies here. Do the water bead test every few months. Granite doesn't need resealing as often as marble typically. Usually you're looking at 1 to 3 years, depending on the specific stone and sealant used. But don't assume it's permanent just because granite has a reputation for being low maintenance. I've seen plenty of granite counters with failed seals because the owner heard granite is tough and stopped thinking about it entirely. Quartz. This is where people get overconfident, so let's set the record straight. Quartz doesn't etch from acid the way natural stone does, and it doesn't need sealing, ever. That resin layer is doing the sealing job permanently. But it's not indestructible, and treating it like it is causes different problems. For daily cleaning, warm water and mild dish soap wiped with a soft cloth is genuinely all you need most of the time. For tougher spots, a small amount of degreaser works fine. Just avoid bleach-based products and avoid anything with a high pH like oven cleaner or drain cleaner residue that might transfer from another task. Rinse and dry after any product use so nothing sits and dries into a film. The bigger issue with quartz is heat, not chemicals. Quartz counters cannot handle direct heat from hot pans the way stone can. The resin binder softens and can discolor or even crack under sustained high heat, and I've seen counters ruined by someone setting a cast iron skillet straight off the stove onto the surface, thinking quartz was tough enough to handle it because nobody told them the resin was the weak point. Always use a trivet or hot pad, no exceptions, regardless of how heat-resistant the marketing on your specific quartz brand claims to be. Marketing claims and real-world sustained contact heat are two different things. Butcher block and wood. Different material, different rules entirely. And I bring this up because most kitchens have at least a small section of wood counter or a built-in cutting board these days. Wood needs conditioning, not just cleaning. Wipe with warm soapy water for daily cleaning, dry it immediately. Wood and standing water do not get along. You'll get warping and dark water staining if you let it sit wet. Every few weeks, condition the wood with a food-safe mineral oil, applied with a clean cloth left to soak in for a few hours or overnight, then wipe off the excess. This keeps the wood from drying out and cracking, and it maintains the surface's natural resistance to moisture penetration. Skip this step for a few months and you'll start seeing the wood grain raise and roughen, which then traps bacteria and food particles in those tiny grooves. That's a real hygiene issue, not just a cosmetic one. Laminate and stainless steel. Quick notes. Laminate is genuinely tough against most household cleaners, including diluted vinegar, so this is the one surface where the vinegar myth isn't really a myth at all. Warm water, mild soap, done. Just avoid abrasive scrubbers, since laminate has a thin decorative layer on top that scratches and dulls if you get aggressive with it. Stainless steel counters, if you've got them, do fine with the diluted vinegar and water solution for cleaning, but always wipe in the direction of the brushed grain, never in circles, or you'll create a cross-hatched scratch pattern that catches light and looks dirty even when it's clean. That's the real breakdown, not what a bottle label tells you, but what I've actually watched happen to hundreds of counters over the years, in real kitchens with real spills and real bad habits. If you take one thing away from this, let it be the water test on your stone counters. Do it this week. It takes 30 seconds, and it tells you more about the actual condition of your countertop than any cleaner ever will. If you've already got an etched spot on your marble or granite and you're not sure whether it's bad enough to call in a professional or something you can live with, drop a description in the comments. Better yet, tell me what happened, what you were using to clean it, and I'll tell you honestly whether it's fixable at home or whether you need actual restoration work. I read through these and I'd rather steer you away from a mistake before you make it worse. If you're dealing with hard water spots or mineral buildup around your sink and faucet, that's a related headache I've covered in another video on this channel. Worth a watch if that's the next problem on your list. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of thing. Real answers from someone who's actually done the work, not just repeated what everyone else already put online. I'll see you in the next one.